Is astrology a guide to aid us in mastering the universe? This is the Cosmic Community Podcast with Galactic Ambassador Stacey Dredd. This astrology report is for the week of November 25th, and we are moving into a new month. We are in Sagittarius season. The sun is in Sagittarius. We have a couple of planets shifting out of their retrograde cycle this week. Both Saturn and Mercury are stationing direct, and we're still in the midst of this grand water trine, and at the end of the week we have a planetary change, Venus moving to Sagittarius. So a big week, but honestly, this is also kind of one of those weeks that I feel like we are kind of sitting in. There's been a lot of movement, there's been a lot of emotion, there's been a lot of planning and plans falling through and things changing, relationships transforming. And this week, I feel like, is one of the moments that we have to kind of just chill in it a little bit, sort of like the eye of the storm, if you will. So this grand water trine, this is really impacting us because it's a long-term grand trine, and a grand trine is supportive. It's going to help things to happen and take place, and trines are all about movement and things happening quickly and smoothly. So a trine, neither a positive or a negative thing. It's just whatever's needing to fall into place is falling into place. And this is in the water signs, and it's at about 25 degrees of all the water signs. So you can look at your own astrological birth chart here to see what's kind of being stimulated and what's needing to be looked at here, and what areas of life are sort of falling into place here. And water signs are all about our emotions. They're about our intuitive connection. So looking for messaging right now, as we still have a lot of planets in retrograde on Tuesday, the 25th. This is finding us with, is it 6 planets in retrograde? This is quite a list, slowing down the energies. Mercury, our mind; Jupiter, the planet of good luck and wisdom; Saturn, the planet of our responsibilities; Uranus, planet of awakening; Neptune, our hopes and dreams and desires; and Chiron, the immortal wounds that we live with. And so this is a lot of energies and themes that are moving internal. Retrogrades are about taking things inside, looking for the messaging. So this is a good time to be in this eye of the storm, sitting with things, waiting for the messaging, waiting for the dust to settle a little bit. And so this, the moon is in Aquarius on the 25th also, moves into Aquarius in the middle of the day. This is the sign of our awakenings and of surprises and of things just looking toward the future, being very technologically based. And also Aquarius is the sign of groups and the sign of the people. So very much an active, social, sort of independent, unique, looking for the unique things about each situation and about people. In terms of Aquarius, that is definitely a focal point. And so that's kind of where we start the week. And then on November 26th, Venus, who is one of the only planets, Venus, Mars, and Pluto, the only planets not moving backwards in retrograde. So Venus making a lot of aspects this week and sort of taking a lot of the attention. Venus is our heart. It's our value system. It's also relationships and the way that we love and put value on things, and just pleasure, really. Venus is about the pleasurable things, good smelling things, soft clothes, and just everything being really nice. hot cup of tea, with your slippers on. That's a very Venus thing. Well, on the 26th, this Venus that's moving through Scorpio, moving through the water sign of Scorpio, she's been looking at things very deeply because Scorpio takes us there. It's the sign of sort of shadows and transformation in terms of like death and rebirth and the phoenix rising from the ashes. So Scorpio can be a bit of a deep type of energy. Venus has been there, taking our heart space there, taking the focal point of relationships there, and moves through the 25-degree point of Scorpio, engaging with Saturn and Jupiter in this grand water trine. Saturn and Jupiter are a pair already. Saturn and Jupiter both sit out in the middle of our solar system, and they, when they have aspects with each other, it is about very much the past and the future. So Saturn likes to look at the past and be traditional and look at history, to learn things. And Jupiter has sort of this higher wisdom, this higher knowledge, and is always looking to expand things and relying on wisdom and even a little bit of luck to get through things. And so Saturn is a constrictive type of energy. It's going to pull in and say no. And Jupiter is an expansive type of energy that's going to push out and say yes. So these two are in a trine right now. They have been for a week or so, and they're going to continue this, although Jupiter is backing up in retrograde now, and Saturn this week is stationing to move forward. So this is going to be separating a bit, but right now the trine between these two is helping to harmonize and balance and let things fall into place in terms of what we need to bring with us from the history of our life and the past and the places we've been and the areas of our life that have boundaries and lots of rules on them. And we're looking at these newer areas where we can apply more wisdom and even take a little bit of a risk depending on our good luck and our good fortune, to get us moving. So, this is a good balancing point. Venus, as I said, coming through here, been looking at things very deeply. There is like a transformative aspect to everything Venusian right now. The way that we find pleasure, the way relationships are working, are changing. They're transforming. And when we get Venus in Scorpio, it's already this really intuitive, there's an instinctual knowing to these areas. And so, this grand water trine very much illuminating all of the areas and relationships that need to transform and helping these things to happen quickly. If there's something that's been needing to take place, a transformative aspect in terms of your emotional state, because we're dealing with water signs here, your intuitive connection to source, or even just your ability to find a deeper connection in terms of the mother aspect, because water signs are very much about the mother. There could be something that comes through and transforms where we can start to mother ourselves a little bit differently. Maybe that's quite beneficial for us. And then we move to November 27th. The moon moves into Pisces, a much different energy than Aquarius. Tuesday, Wednesday this week, feeling more social, more outward, more group-oriented. Thursday, Friday, with the Pisces moon, we get a little more introverted. We feel a little more connected to that source energy. And there's also a mystical aspect to Pisces, where they're very much about the areas of life that are hard to explain, these mysterious, fantastic areas of life. And Pisces is very much a sign about endings also. And this is a Neptune-ruled sign, so we can be very dreamy here, talk a lot about our hopes, dreams, and desires. When the moon is moving through a sign, it's just sort of the intimate aspect of our life and the way that we're feeling. That's going to be the focal point of that. And then also the 27th, Thursday this week, is when Saturn stations direct. And this means that the planet, in terms of the way that we view it through the ecliptic in the sky, is that the optical illusion is that it looks like it's moving backwards, and then it actually stops and starts moving forwards again. But there is a time where the planet is sitting very, very still in the sky, and that is the stationing aspect of it. So Saturn stationing, it just sits very, very still. The further out a planet is, the longer that it sits in one place. Saturn's, half, kind of one of the middle planets. So sits very, very still. Okay. When a planet sits still, we feel its energies very potently. Saturn is at the final degrees of Pisces, making some real final touches to all the Pisces work that we have been doing for a while now. The North Node of destiny is in Pisces. So areas of our life that we are needing to go towards, and, goals, ambitions, this is all taking place right here in Pisces. And we're feeling it very strongly. There's a sense of needing to make endings with Saturn at the final degrees of the sign, but also have these new beginnings and move into new directions with the North Node of destiny there. So Pisces is a very sort of it's got a very dichotomous energy to it right now, with the North Node and then Saturn and Neptune doing their final retrograde here, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, setting up the final rule structures. That's Saturn, just wants to create the rules, let's define what it is that we have going on here so that we can all live within these boundaries. It's very healthy. Saturn is a very healthy boundary setter in this watery sign, in this watery feminine type of energy. So that is the Saturn stationing direct. Again, very potent, the planet sitting still. We won't see the planet start to move forward for a couple of weeks. It'll start to move very slowly and then start going again. And we get to see Saturn move out of Pisces for the last time, but that's not for a while. And so Saturn takes about 29 and a half years to get around the zodiac. So if you want to get an idea of what maybe this last 5 degrees of Pisces, this last moment of Saturn in Pisces is all about for you, you could also look back 29 and a half years ago when Saturn was at this same point. What was going on in your life? I think it's like 93 to 96 or something like that. And so you can look back, see what was going on in your life back then. That could be helpful also. And then Saturn was here at this same degree earlier this year. I want to say April. And so you look back at April and say, what was it that I was dealing with then? Well, that's kind of coming back up now. On the 29th of November, the moon is in a very fateful position. There's no actual planetary aspects this day, but the moon is going to conjunct with that north node in Pisces. So this could be quite the fateful day, Friday the 28th, where we come into the understanding of places we are headed in life. The South Node is directly across in Virgo. We are seeing things leave our life. Also, we make the decision, the moon in an opposition to the South Node, we make that decision. There's a decision-making aspect to Friday with this moon conjunct North Node opposite the South Node. And opposition is a decision-making factor, and opposite the South Node means we make a choice to walk away from something, which means we also make a choice to move towards something. So this is an exciting day to pay attention to, I believe. Anytime the moon is conjuncting either of the nodes, it's just a very fateful course correction type of moment. And it could be quite forceful because it's in a square with Mars on this day. And a square with Mars is could be a little violent, could be like a shot in the dark, like getting stabbed from behind or punched from the side kind of energy. It's just it can be surprising, and with this water trine, it's also caught up in a kite position with Uranus. And I haven't talked a lot about it because I'm still trying to understand the mystical kite, but it's supposed to be good luck. There's supposed to be an aspect to it that's like good things happen. And so sometimes the good things happening are kind of masked, and it's like a blessing in disguise. So if something, really forceful takes place, some kind of cosmic course correction comes in on Friday the 28th, just know that the universe has your highest, most benevolent good in mind. Saturday, November 29th, quite the busy day. Just a ton of lunar stuff going on. This is also the day that Mercury is stationing direct. So I already talked a lot about what it means for a planet to station direct, but this also signifies the third phase of retrograde. So we've already been over this territory twice as it is, and we will be moving into the third phase of the retrograde, which is the fix it. It's the fix it moment. We've already made the mistake, gone back and seen what the mistake was, and now we get to fix it as we move forward. So again, Mercury is a fast-moving planet and be catching up to this grand water trine yet again next week. The moon in Aries, the moon moves into Aries on Saturday the 29th also. This sparks new energy. The moon is quite bogged down with a lot of emotion and energy in Pisces right now with everything going on. So it moves out of Aries. It's like a fresh breath. We get the fire lit under us again, get a little less bogged down by the mysterious, mystical parts of life, and get more in tune with what's happening right here, right now, and how we're feeling on an instinctual level. Another decision-making factor comes in on Saturday here in the evening with Venus in this direct opposition to Uranus at 29 degrees of Taurus. Uranus is back in Taurus for a time during this retrograde. So more finishing touches taking place here. And also, it's like old things are coming up. There are some things that we thought were finished earlier this year, maybe even last year, because Uranus moves very, very slowly. We could be going back to themes that we've actually been mulling over and working over for a couple of years here. But a decision-making factor as Venus makes an opposition to Uranus could be quite surprising. We did not even know that we were going to have to make a decision like that when we woke up on Saturday morning. And then this same Venus on Sunday, the 30th, makes a trine with Neptune. And this is just that exact trine with the final planet here in Pisces. Neptune's at 29 degrees of Pisces. There's an aspect of making some type of this dream that's forming come true. And Neptune and Venus are both very much the lovers at the highest level. So if you would like to be loved or love at the very highest level, it's good to do that when Venus and Neptune are in an aspect together. And then on the 30th, Venus moves into Sagittarius, leaves Scorpio, gets a fire lit underneath her. Sagittarius has more energy. It's going to be a little more into creating, starting projects, having discussions about religion and belief systems and just things that are, known to be sort of higher thinking, higher knowledge type of conversations. Also, Venus in Sagittarius loves a good adventure. So the feminine, pops out of that really watery, emotional vibe of Scorpio and is like, hey, let's shoot ourselves out like an arrow into the world. And on December 1st, the moon moves into Taurus. Taurus, the earth sign, begs us to slow things down a little bit, focus on the good things in life, be a provider for others and provide for yourself. It's very much an earth-based type of energy in terms of, maybe get some sprouts going on your windowsill and the jar and just kind of connect to nature and connect to the earth here. That ends the week in terms of the planetary action and spits us out into a new month. So there is an aspect to this week that is telling us to slow down a little bit. These planets sitting still, if you're pushing for things to take place, just understand that the energy right now is not all about moving forward. Well, guess what? Friday is about moving forward. That's the day. That's the forward movement day when the moon makes a conjunction with the North Node. North Node is about where we're headed. So that's the forward moving day this week. But the rest of it is kind of mulling stuff over, kind of letting things fall into place and understanding that we may be in a little bit of the eye of the storm right now and just kind of rest in that. So I hope that this was a helpful report for you. And I really appreciate you being tuned in here to the Cosmic Community Astrology with your Galactic Ambassador, Stacey Dredd. And I will be back again soon to chat more astrology with you. Take good care. Peace. Thank you for listening to the Cosmic Community Podcast. More can be found at kpov.org/thecosmiccommunity.